Hey, this is Jason Price with Nexite Consulting, here with Dr. Alex McCree talking about building values.
You were talking to me off camera here a little bit about basically, hey, appraisal versus what you do. And me personally, I own a building here in Florida, and I do healthcare, which probably isn't relevant to the building perspective, but I get calls, I get stuff in the mail that says like, all right, we'll do an appraisal, which seems general. It's like, all right, well, how much is it worth? So why would I contact you?
Sure. Appraisals are a term widely known in real estate, heavily used by banks. Banks want to make sure that when they're lending money, that what is the building worth? But in the real estate investment world, people aren't looking at the appraisal, what it's worth, as a benchmark. They're looking more at the pro forma. How much is this property going to generate, and how much will this property be worth in the future? I created Nexite Consulting to kind of help local independent operators or owner-occupants take a look long-term at what is their building worth, a different focus on it that's not readily available. So a certified appraisal is like a 100-page report that gives lots of stats and statistics and compares your property to 3 to 5 other properties in the market. It is very dependent on what are those 3 to 5 properties, how similar are they to yours. In your case, yours sits retail, very visible on the front of your space, but you have another building on the back of your space that's less visible and would be a different dollar amount. So what you charge yourself in rent is what pushes that pro forma. It's very dependent on what the practice can support and not necessarily what may have happened in the last 2 to 3 years within a 5, 10, 20-mile radius around that building.
Have you seen them be wildly different numbers?
They can be wildly different numbers. So think of a real estate investment group with a building that may be 20 years old versus a brand new building. There are real estate investment groups that invest $50, $60, $80 a square foot in tenant improvements and give a year worth of free rent to push higher rental rates in that market. But the certified appraisal is only going to look at what is sold in that market in the last 2 to 3 years. They're not looking at what if you invest in it or what if you kind of push the envelope in that market. Or
specifically, I guess kind of what you're referring to is obviously it might sell at a higher rate when if you have a national tenant or if you have a healthcare tenant, which has more like a long-term lease. Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Absolutely. Creditworthiness is one of the factors that adjust that, but what you're talking about, lease term, is even a larger indicator. So if the practice can realistically stay in the building for another 10 to 15 years, it's going to be worth considerably more than if the practice needs to weigh their options or expand and they're only in the 2 to 3, 5-year lease range. So investor would pay considerably more for a 10-year lease than they would someone that has a short-term lease in place.
So basically, in simple real estate dummy terms, an appraisal is more like almost like a home appraisal where it's like, hey, this is how many square feet. Essentially, I know it might go into a little bit more, but it's more you just almost based off square feet, even though there's so many more factors, which I always thought was crazy with home prices. It could be a brand new house or an old house. They're like, oh, $200 a square foot. I'm like, well, these are not even saying, but they're like,
yes.
Oh, it's per square foot.
It's very institutional and it's very looking at the past, where modeling pro forma is more looking at the future and things you can control to kind of create value. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button to keep updated on future videos as it relates to owner-occupied medical real estate.